The college football experience week 8 pregame show on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog has just added Pick'em Scorchers, where you can win 100 times the amount of money you enter. That's right. Turn $5 into 500 in one game. Plus, every Sunday they're giving away $100,000. Use the promo code SGPN at Underdog Fantasy for 100% deposit bonus up to $500. We're also brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use that promo code CFBX for $20 off your first purchase. We're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit HOFBets.com. Use that promo code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today, people. And finally, it's not too late. Get in today. Essentially, we're giving away $3,000 in our NFL Second Chance Survivor contest presented by Corey Pinkston and Barking Dog Properties. The contest starts this weekend, folks. Second chance, all right, and it's free to enter. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor. Once again, that is sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor to get in, folks. Remember, as always, to let it ride.
Hey, this is Pac-Man Jones. You're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Yes, yes, yes. Woo! Welcome to the college football experience. Week 8 pregame show. Loaded card today, folks. So I even put on the glasses just so I won't miss any of these fucking bets. You know what I mean? There's some, I see value out there, folks. And there's some big time matchups and some big time news regarding injuries as well. I am joined. Well, actually, hold on. You probably need to know who the hell I am. That's fair. My name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
And you're nothing but a chameleon, lemon-headed, coward, terrorist pussy. And I'm after you, buddy. You're going to pay for it. Good night.
Shout out to the chat. They're rocking along. You can watch this youtube.com/the college experience. Joe Hackney says you got to start fading Temple. I did last night. I don't know what, I might not have updated the picks page. But my analysis was if EJ Warner doesn't play, you fade Temple. So we hit on that. I am joined by my co-host. He is the host of the NBA Gambling Podcast. He is the host of the WNBA Gambling Podcast. You've heard him on like every platform we have, I feel like. Give it up for Terrell Furman Jr. live from CJ Sullivan's apartment there.
Yeah. CJ let me borrow the place for the weekend. I'm here having a good time. He's not here, so I was just walking around bare nuts out, just hanging out, doing nothing, eating up his food in his cabinet. So yeah, it's a great time here at Casa de CJ.
Now, how many drinks does it take for you to get on that piano and play some crazy tunes, huh?
None. Zero at all. I don't need any. I can go back there and do it right now. Matter of fact, I'm so fast that I just did it. Did you see me? Did you see me go do it?
they call him Crazy Fingers, man. He could play some shit. Look, speaking of playing some shit though, we got a loaded card, man. We got a loaded card. This lineup is pretty fire. I think it's kind of an underrated. I know a lot of times Halloween gets like the treatment, the Halloween weekend for like one of the better weekends. And that's fair. I mean, there's some really good games, world's biggest cocktail party, stuff like that. But this card is pretty fantastic. I mean, let's just the elephant in the room here. Penn State, Ohio State. He kicks off in 55 minutes.
Yep.
I took Penn State.
We're kicking off with a lock battle.
I mean, I'm terrified of James Franklin. Terrified of James Franklin here.
You
But
sounded Kobe. You got to remember, I'm a fan of TCE before I was working with TCE, so I watched the shows. Kobe, you've been pretty adamant on Penn State all week.
well, I feel like Ohio State's off. This is the worst quarterback play I've seen at Ohio State since fucking Mike Tomczak. So I don't think their offense is on this super gear that they've been on over the past decade, right?
No, they're not.
And Penn State, when I look at it, I'm like, wait, look at last year. They would have beat Ohio State if Clifford doesn't throw 2 picks and a fumble. I feel like Aller. I know that they haven't stretched the field well, but I just feel like he's playing turnover free football. And to me, if they had done that last year, they win, So like, I think Penn State has played better, looked better all year. Am I terrified of James Franklin in a big game? 100%, 100%. But at the end of the day, Franklin normally loses these, but he normally covers. So I will take the Nittany Lions in Columbus, and especially we got like multiple injuries in this matchup right now, and it seems like Ohio State is the team that is, the one more injured than Penn State. So that's my logic there. Talk to me about why you're on Ohio State.
I mean, let's just go back to history. How many times have we seen this Penn State team go through and absolutely steamroll the Big Ten? And playing, some of these subpar schools. You look at what Penn State's done this year, and they have a win at home versus Iowa, which kind of takes away the at home piece. They went on the road and beat Northwestern. I don't think we're really looking at that. It's 63-0 last week against UMass. Like, I think the more impressive thing might have been the 30-13 against Illinois, but then again, it is Illinois. Like, this team hasn't played anybody. The best team they played is
West Virginia, probably.
Yeah, probably West Virginia in the beginning of the season. And so absolutely not. I just can't. I'm not a believer in this Penn State team. I took a break fading them because they just kept covering these numbers against these bad teams. But now they're playing a really good team, this Ohio State team. I don't think Ohio State is going to be as forgiving as a lot of these other squads are, especially on the road, especially in the horseshoe. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take Ohio State here. Lock it up. I think Ohio State gets it done. They win by 7.
But I mean, normally Franklin covers this. He's got a great track record of covering this game, just losing it.
He's never gotten this little points though.
True.
Those are like 10, 14 point spreads. He's never gotten 3.5. Like they win by 7. This goes into overtime. They win by 7.
How about this? How about this news though? Ohio State starting cornerback Denzel Burke out for the game. Also, running back Travion Henderson and star wideout Emeka Ibuka. Game time decisions, and this was in the past hour. This was documented. I mean, like I said, I think they're the more beat up team. I think that's why you take the points with Penn State here. Love a lock battle to start things off. But let's get to the real play here. I'm sorry, I know you're an Air Force guy. But 10.5 points right now. Get out of here. Get out of here. In the Commander in Chief game in Annapolis, Maryland, without Zach Larrier, their starting quarterback. Look, Air Force may win the game, even though I do think Navy is live, and I think you should be betting this. I've already bet Navy plus 340. There's no way. There's no way that 10.5 or 11 is not hitting here. Lock this thing up. This is my favorite play of the day, probably. What are you doing here in this matchup?
Well, I am an Air Force guy. However, Academy guys just cannot wait to tell you that they're from the Academy. They really can't. They're a little snazzy. If you had to put private school pussies in the Air Force, they probably went to the Academy. And so, I'm perfectly fine fading them. I'm perfectly fine fading those. I went to, I had a class in the military, and it was a couple guys from the Academy, and they were cool. But they definitely reminded me they went to the academy. I'm taking Navy here. I think this is a better spot for Navy. This is too many points in a service academy game. I think it's going to be a slow game, very long time of possession, not many scores. Yeah, give me Navy to get this done. I see it like a Navy might even win outright. Give me a 17.
Yeah.
17-14 final.
It was 13-10 a year ago. I'm all on board. Plus 340. By the way, that over unders at 34.5. I like the under too. I know that it seems like that's become more and more popular, but I still like the under. Let's jump down. Another one that I like. Well, I actually love this one. All my locks kind of came in a row here. Mississippi State, Arkansas. Arkansas is laying 6.5. Now this line might have just jumped up because they announced that Will Rogers, the starting quarterback of Mississippi State, is not playing. So if you can get this thing in right now, folks, lay the 6.5, whatever it is, before your book takes it off the board. I mean, I think Arkansas is just a much better. I think Mississippi State's ass this year. I think they might be. I would be curious to see Mississippi State Vanderbilt. I'll put it like that, to see who the worst team is. Arkansas hung with Bama. They hung with LSU. They hung with Ole Miss. They're much better than their record. They get the dub here at home. I like laying the 6.5. What are you doing here?
Yeah, I am going Arkansas. And I just think we came into the season saying Mississippi State was probably going to be the worst team in the SEC. And I don't think that they've done anything else to pull us off of that fact. I mean, they won a couple of games, but it hasn't really been anything impressive. And this Arkansas team, they just kind of got screwed by a really tough schedule like they have every single year. And so this is a spot where they say, hey, this is a game we can get a win. This is a get right game. And let's try to propel ourselves to try to go make a bowl by the end of the season. Yeah, I love Arkansas all over this. I think you could put this in a pleaser. Arkansas might win this by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, lock it up. Razorback, Sam, pulled pork, Pittman. Let's ride with it. Telling you, like I like a lot of the 9 a.m. slate. I'll be honest, this game's gross, but I think you should take the points. Boston College is taking on Georgia Tech in Atlanta. This game kicks in 47 minutes. 6 points is too much for a BC Georgia Tech game. Give me the 6. Why is this not at a pick? What are you doing here in Atlanta here at Bobby Dodd Stadium?
I feel like the easy answer is to take the 6.
It's true, but I'm not locking this one. The other ones were locks. This one is just a game we're calling here.
Yeah, I can't bet Haynes King. That's ultimately what it is.
Yeah,
Haynes King is in there. He's in that category of quarterbacks that transfer thinking that they're going to be better, coaches thinking that they can change them, and they can't change them. They're just bad. Give me BC plus points.
A lot of people in the chat saying the line is fishy, and I think that is accurate. Shout out to Real Money Kramer in the chat. It says only 8 likes. What the hell? You must hate Dundee. Fair.
Yeah, I know. It's 91 people in the chat. There's no way.
I know. What the fuck's going on, guys? Gals, whoever's out there.
Wait, hold on. Does Boston College win this outright?
Dude, I definitely think they're alive.
Why would they not? I mean, Haynes King is really bad.
And Castellanos, the quarterback for BC, although at times can be a little reckless.
Yeah,
he's an athlete though, man.
He can be a jackass.
There's moments where I like his style though. He kind of goes for it. I like quarterbacks that are gamers, even if you make the mistakes. If you're in
who's a fucking gamer?
Who's that?
Oh, I'm gonna throw us all the way. I'm gonna completely get us off topic. You know who's a fucking gamer? Zion Webb. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
What a gamer.
Yes.
He's like, I just don't understand how these schools don't go into these smaller colleges and take these quarterbacks. These quarterbacks are so real.
I like New Mexico State's kid too, Diego Pavia. Yes, he pissed on the field of his rivals, but also he's a gamer. He will try to run you over for a first down. He just will do what it takes to win. You know what I mean? He'll lay out somebody. Yeah, of New Mexico. He pissed on their logo. He got caught on that, and actually, I think he got suspended for a game. But hey, you know, it's a couple weeks back. UCF has taken on Oklahoma. Now this line has came down, and rightfully so, because I locked this one up at 19.5 on Wednesday. It's down to flat 17. I still think you take this unless it goes below 17. I would kind of go off of it then. But here's the thing. UCF is getting Rice Plumlee back. Now, I know he's not the most prolific passer, but I do believe that they can score on Oklahoma. And 17 points is you give Gus Malzahn 2 weeks. You know, Malzahn's a weird coach. Like, I know we're not huge fans of Malzahn, but at the same time, one thing I will say is, like, normally go back to those Alabama Auburn games when you gave him that FCS opponent the week before. You give him 2 weeks. He normally has some very creative shit dialed up. I think it's too many points for Oklahoma. Remember, Oklahoma, this is a team that only won by 17 against SMU. It's a team that only won by 14 against Cincinnati. I think UCF is better than both of those schools. I will take the 17 on the road here, even though I know it is personal. You got Dylan Gabriel, who used to play at UCF, and same with the Oklahoma OC, Jeff Lebby. What are you doing here?
Well, I'm probably gonna take the points. You kind of swayed me on the points there, but take the over. Take the over. Rice Plumlee versus Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, 67 is that number, right?
Yeah, they're absolutely gonna put up fireworks, and I think that's how UCF stays in this game. This isn't trying to lean on that defense of UCF because Dylan Gabriel in this offense is just too much. I think you have to have a good offensive game plan where you take advantage of this OU defense that people are starting to hype up. You know, starting to get back behind that defense, and you got to remember that this is still the Big 12, and this is still, you know, this OU team. And while Venables is making strides to be better, they're not all the way there yet. So I think that UCF offensively exploits that defense this game, and the total goes over. And look at that. We're already moving the line because it was just at 67. Now it's at 67.5.
There we go. Yeah, I think those are the favorite games. There's some other 9 a.m. games. Baylor's at Cincinnati in a game where I feel like both teams really need to win. I took Baylor in the points. I don't have a strong play on that one. Do you have any opinion on that one?
No, I'm out on Cincy after last week. Honestly, like I'm truly out. It was homecoming last week too, and yeah, I'm out on Cincy. I'm out on Cincy after last week. I can't bet Cincy the rest of the year. I just don't think they're that good. Yeah, give me Baylor +3.
Rutgers is 1 win away from a bowl. Indiana's trash, but I mean Rutgers offense still not prolific by any means.
Wow, Stanford Steve sucks overall. 11-19-2 against the spread.
He got that money. That money.
Hey, I don't know if at least they're being transparent. They was like last week 1-2-1.
Scarlet Knights are laying 5.5 in Bloomington. I say, man, it's a big number for Rutgers. That's like 4 touchdowns. I'm still doing it. Give me like a 21-14 final. Rutgers gets it done. The total's at like 40 or 39.5. I kind of like the under in this game too, as I know that there's a chance of rain. What are you doing here?
So ultimately, when I first looked at this, I thought they were crazy that we're laying this amount of points with Rutgers on the road. But when you dig a little bit deeper, you do get some reverse line movement here. Bunch of people betting IU because you know you can't lay points with Rutgers, and they were just at home and didn't cover the number against Michigan State. Rutgers actually gets up for this spot a lot. And Rutgers, I agree with you. Rutgers is on the cusp of a bowl game here. I think this is a game to get up for. Everybody wants this IU team to be better than what they are, and they're not. They're actually pretty bad. Yeah, give me Rutgers -6. I'm not going to lock this up, but give me Rutgers.
Well, you're going to hear me bragging about this if they win tonight on the show. I'm just going to warn folks because I already hit on their over, and I called for them to make a bowl this year, and I definitely have a strong like 10 messages calling me a fucking idiot on Twitter. So I'm ready to talk shit if they win this game. Shane says that I missed the Korean barbecue parlay. No, that's coming. Let's jump over. By the way, ECU is playing Charlotte. This is how much of an ECU fan I am. Take Charlotte in the points. Also take the under because both teams have no offense.
Wow.
ECU sucks, dude. Their quarterback, like the fact you were just talking Zion Webb, right? That's at Jacksonville State. They were in FCS last year.
Yep.
ECU had all off season to go and get, like, I watch FCS, dude. The backup at Harvard is a guy named Charles DePrima, who's a fucking stud, right? How does that happen? So Harvard's starting quarterback bounces to Western Carolina, and then you're thinking, oh, maybe they're probably not going to be that good this year. That was a late ass transfer too, and man, Harvard looks unstoppable, and this guy was just their backup. How does ECU fuck this up? There's so many quarterbacks out there. That's why you got to take Charlotte plus the 7 or 6.5, whatever it is. And but I think the other is probably a smarter play. Yeah, Biff Poggi with that awesome attire he's got there on the sidelines. Who are you taking here?
Oh yeah, I'm rolling with the points here. I'm not trusting. I don't know how you can lay a touchdown with this ECU team. I think ECU probably does get the win.
Yeah,
but ECU, when they bring in these smaller North Carolina schools, a la one North Carolina A&T that went in there as 13-point underdogs and got the win outright.
I know what you're doing.
They struggle. They struggle with the little brother angle. ECU is not a team that is supposed to be big brother. They're like the middle child, where the younger sibling doesn't have any respect for them. The older sibling doesn't have any respect for them, and they're just kind of sitting there. Yeah, give me Charlotte plus 6.5. They're gonna go in there. They might win this outright.
ECU wins 13-7. Charlotte covers.
I'm not 100% sold. I like ECU winning, not 100% sold on ECU winning.
Charlotte could be up 7-6 at halftime too. I could see that. All right, moving down the ranks. Oklahoma State, West Virginia. This is actually a huge Big 12 game, considering that each of them only have one loss. Dub V is laying 3, but Gundy has had their number. This was 3.5, and I loved laying the 3.5 because I thought Vegas was telling you that. Down to 3 now. I'm still on the Mountaineers. I think that's that far wacky trip. I know Gundy's had success, in the past 3 or 4 games in Morgantown, but it stops here. Neil Brown, he's going to get extended, man. Dub V gets it done after that Hail Mary loss. What are you doing here?
Oh yeah, I'm going with Dub V. This is the ultimate get right game. And I think it's a little of tragic magic in this game. Dub V, one of their longtime announcers, died. I think right before that Houston game, it might have been, or it was the week before, or something like that. I think this is their first home game back. Mac's going to be in the area. I think that this place is going to be electric. They're lighting couches. Never understood why they lit couches. Didn't understand how that gets me hype. I don't know. I don't just see a couch on fire and immediately get really, really hyped for a football game or anything like that. But
that's expensive, man. That's expensive.
Yeah, these couches, that couch over there is like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. Like, couches are really expensive and they're just burning them. And so, dude, I never understood that. But I mean, if you're burning couches, I got to get behind you, right? So yeah, give me Dub V.
That is a good thing. Like, I'm moving to a new apartment, this month in the next 9 days, and I've been sitting there furniture shopping, and I'm like, damn, couches are grip. And then you think about every Dub V game I've ever seen has like multiple couches on fire.
Yeah,
right?
It's like, what? Where do you guys get this money?
Who knows? But that's probably why that state stays broke, right? They're burning too many couches. Washington State is at Oregon. Cam Ward and Washington State, they've lost 2 in a row. They're getting 20 points in Eugene. I still took the 20, but I think Oregon wins. What are you doing here? I didn't bet this game. What are you doing here?
I'm not betting this. I guess you lay. Do you lay 20 with Oregon? Wazoo is not bad, but that UCLA defense did do what I thought it was going to do. Shout out to our lock battle a couple weeks ago. I never got to brag about that. It did exactly what I thought it was going to do, and really got some pressure and rattled Cam Ward. And I just think Cam Ward does have weaknesses that can be exploited. And Dan Lanning is a petty coach that probably tried to do that coming off of a loss, especially against Washington. So, yeah, I guess I'll lay the 20, but I'm not betting this.
Yeah. Kason in the chat cracking me up. Those aren't valuable. That's not expensive couches after college kids do what they do on the couches. Fair point. Very fair point. Tennessee, Bama. Alabama's laying. This line's gone up a little bit. This was at like 8, 7.5. I feel like now it's at 9.5. I'm seeing, and guess what? I'm laying it, man. I know a lot of people think Tennessee and Alabama hasn't been covering. I think this one's Saban's had this one sort of for like a year. So I think it might take till the fourth quarter, but give me Bama to win this one, like something like, I don't know, 31-14 or something like that. What are you doing here?
Lock this up. I'm fading Joe Milton on the road here.
Yeah,
I have no faith in Joe Milton.
Roll Tide. Lay the points 9.5. There's a reason why it keeps climbing.
Hendon Hooker beat Alabama. Joe Milton did not.
Yeah. And just because Joe Milton beat Texas A&M, I don't even know if you can say that he beat Texas A&M. I feel like that was more of A&M being A&M. Like A&M lost that game more than Tennessee won it. Does that sound accurate?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to lock up this one in the crazy MAC. Central Michigan. I think I might have told you about this, that I ended up getting. I don't know how. I think a fan put me on like their email chain for their alumni in the off season. And I kept getting these emails from their coach, but not directed towards me, but just directed towards the alumni at Central Michigan, saying we're going to be a lot better this year. I apologize for last year's efforts. You know, if I do this again, you can me, stuff like that. And they're 4-3. They have some really nice wins. South Alabama being one of them. After South Alabama beat the shit out of Oklahoma State. Ball State's 1-6. Ball State beat them last year in a crazy game, 17-16. I keep going back to those emails, and I think this has got to be one of the games he's talking about where they underachieve. Central Michigan's laying 4.5 in Muncie, Indiana. I'm locking up the chips because I think they're actually legit. Bert Emanuel Jr. at the quarterback spot, dual threat. Ball State's ass. What are you doing here? And actually, you know what? Let's do a MAC parlay. Parlay that with Eastern Michigan plus 11.5 at Northern Illinois. Because that's hit.
First of all, I am so out on Northern Illinois. I've been out on them after I won that Boston College bet, and I've been done with that team ever since. So I'm not laying 11 with them. Eastern Michigan literally only plays close games. Like that's all they do.
and we love that coach, but at the same time, whenever he's a heavy favorite, you fade Eastern Michigan, right? Whenever they're catching points, like I don't know a time where he hasn't covered whenever it's double digits, I feel like it's been years since he hasn't covered a double digit spread
in the MAC.
Yeah. We got to take this. That a little Maction parlay for you folks.
It's not even, that's just a system play. You take ECU getting more than a touchdown in the MAC. That's a flow chart. Is EMU playing? Yes. Is EMU getting more than a touchdown? Yes. All right, you bet EMU. But I also am CMU today. I agree with the parlay. Laid to 5.5 with them. Ball State sucks.
Let's go. Any chance the Northwestern's got starting quarterback Ben Bryant out? He's in Lincoln, Nebraska, taking on the Cornhuskers. Nebraska's laying 10.5 points, maybe even 11 now. With that news, what are you doing here in this game? Believe it or not, that both these teams still alive to win the Big Ten West.
Yeah, all right. Whatever. Just give me the 10. Good luck to you if you choose to watch this game. I'm not, but I'm so out on Nebraska. And as bad as Northwestern is, I don't think that they can. They're not 10 points worse than Nebraska, are they? I don't think so. Give me 10.
Yeah, I think you take the points here. Lane Elliott saying any underdog props that we are on today. Maybe we can do that at some point.
I mean, we got a Big Ten game in this slate that I actually like the dog.
Are you referring to Northwestern or Illinois, right?
Yeah.
I love Illinois in that spot. So Brett Bielema has obviously had a track record with the Wisconsin fans after he left.
Yep.
Then also he beat the piss out of them last year. He's the guy that got Paul Chris fired, actually. And then they went with the interim head coach Jim Leonard, former Baltimore Raven, New York Jets safety. And everyone thought he was going to be the head coach next year. Nope, not the case. They let him go, which was shocking, I think, to even Leonard himself. What did Brett Bielema do? He went out and hired Jim Leonard. He is part of the staff with the Illini. And you add in Tanner Mordecai out for I don't think it's for the season. Yeah. I'm all over the Illini +3 at home though. I think it's a money line play. I think you jump on that. What are you doing here?
This is the spot where Bielema, flexes his muscles in the Big Ten, and the best thing for Illinois is the fact that this Wisconsin coaching staff isn't back from last year, and that's not the motivation. Like they have no ties to this game. I think that this is going to be one of those smash ugly games. I really hate telling you to bet Outmire because he sucks, but. Yeah, I think I really do think Illinois gets the win today off of defense alone. This is going to be an ugly win for them.
All right, let's talk about this barn burner with the lowest total. Minnesota, Iowa. It's been happening since the 1800s. Iowa's laying 3.5. Is that too many points? And this total is sitting there at 30.5 right now. Look, I said take Minnesota 3.5 because it's probably going to be like a 17-14 game. But what are you doing on this total? 30.5. I think I gotta lean over at this point.
I hate when the line moves so much. It moves 6 points. I hate when it moves so much because it makes me feel like it's gonna middle. So yeah, I will never give out a Big Ten over, but it just kind of feels like this line is gonna middle between 30 and 36, and there's going to be a bad beat for some people and it's going to be an amazing sweat for others. I'm kind of off the total at this point, but give me Iowa to get it done.
Yeah, I could also see like a 7-0 final score.
This is probably, I think Minnesota is going to be covering until probably the last drive, and then that's when it's probably a scoop and score at that point, and Iowa ends up getting 3.5. So yeah, give me Iowa.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not betting that actual spread. Pitt, Wake Forest. It's homecoming for Wake Forest. Surprised you're not there in Winston-Salem. Pitt's laying 1.
Place doesn't get lit.
Wake Forest. This was Wake -1.5. It's crossed over 0. It's Pitt -1 now. I still lean Pitt a little bit, I guess. I mean, Wake's kind of having a bounce, like a down year, I should say. What are you doing here?
Well, I don't fault Wake for going in the Lane Stadium where nobody thought that Virginia Tech was going to protect home field in the best home field environment ever and won that game 30-13. I don't fault them at that. You may fault them because you might have thought that, Wake was get it done in that spot. But
hey, Virginia Tech woke up, by the way.
I knew. They didn't wake up because I knew how the season was going to go. I have the script, Kobe. It's back there by the piano. I don't have it with me, but it's back there by the piano. I have the script, just so you know. So we got two teams that both lost to Virginia Tech when everybody thought that they were going to beat Virginia Tech. That has nothing to do with the handicap. I just wanted to make sure that I pointed that out because Virginia Tech's on a bye. But two teams that both lost to Virginia Tech when everybody picked them to lose at home. I have no idea how you guys picked against Virginia Tech at home. Give me Wake here, -1 or +1, whatever it is. It's homecoming. I'll take them.
We do have another big one in the MAC. Toledo, Miami, Ohio. This one's for first place. Toledo's laying 2 at Miami, Ohio. I actually think Miami, Ohio is a better team this year. I'm going to take the 2 with the home dog there at old Jagerbaum Field. What are you doing here in Oxford, Ohio?
Yeah, I think Miami, Ohio got together after early in the season and, disgustingly losing to Miami after talking all that shit. We were kind of out on them a little bit, but they really had a really good season up to this point. Toledo, pretty solid as well, but I think I'm a little disappointed in Toledo and how they've gotten a couple of these wins. Like that 13-6 against Ball State actually looks really, really bad. When you look at it, it looks really bad.
Does. It really does.
And so I'm trying not to use, and maybe that's because it was just a look ahead, and maybe that shouldn't go against them. Maybe it was a look ahead to this spot. It actually probably was a look ahead. Yeah, no, matter of fact, give me Toledo. Get it done on the road.
Woo.
Yeah,
Texas.
It's a lot of money on Miami, Ohio. I'm not going to bet the public side on a MAC game.
It's easy to see a tide turn.
Public doesn't know the MAC like that. Give me Toledo -1.5.
Texas is heading into Houston. Oh boy, 24-point spread. What could go wrong on a team that they refused to play for a long time, and then also a team that they refused to let into the Big 12 or in every conference that they've ever been a part of.
I'm pretty sure everybody that was around during that time is in a retirement home.
True, but at the same time, I'll tell you this: if Dana Holgerson or whoever is a part of that administration at Houston has gone out recruiting, I guarantee you, the reason why Texas didn't allow them recently in the Big 12 was because they knew Houston's fertile recruiting ground. And I know they'll be saying things saying like, oh, they're not a part of a Power 5 conference. You want to come to us? We're part of a Power 5 conference. That shit is real, dude. That shit is really real. Like I know 100% that's been happening. That's why I do think this game's personal, no matter how you dial it up, So I'll take the points in Houston. Donovan Smith beat him last year when he was a starter at Texas Tech. I think it's too many points, man. What are you doing here?
You're crazy. I'm laying it at 24. I'm laying the points with Texas. Houston just came off of probably one of the best wins they've ever had.
Extra rest.
Yeah, they do got a little bit of extra rest, but I don't. Ultimately, I just don't think they have the talent to keep up with this Texas team, and I don't even like Texas, but I think that this is a pretty good spot for Texas to go in there and just take advantage of a Houston team that's been riding high off of their first. Was that the first win? That was the first win in the Big 12 last week.
Big 12 win, yeah.
That was the first win in the Big 12 last week. Give me Houston.
Give you Texas. You mean
give me Texas -24 to get it done. I think that they're going to destroy Houston. I like that Texas team total over.
Patty C has locked up the Virginia Cavaliers +23.5 in Chapel Hill. He says the oldest rivalry in the South is always a close game. He says this is a guarantee that Virginia covers this, and he actually kind of convinced me to take Virginia. Now it's not one of my locks, but what are you doing here, Virginia heading into Chapel Hill?
Well, he is right. These games normally are rather close, but that's when UVA had way, way better teams. Like this UVA team is really bad. And I can see UNC looking past UVA at one point, but I just think that it through 4 quarters, by the third, fourth quarter, that's where the game really gets out of hand. I'm going to lay the points with UNC, but I don't like it. I'm not betting this.
I'll take the points. We got the Hughes Strip Club Freeze Bowl going on. Ole Miss on the Plains taking on Auburn. Ole Miss laying 6.5 against these Tigers. Lane Kiffin, remember, it's personal for him too because he thought he was going to be Auburn's next head coach. They went with Freeze over Kiffin, perhaps. Too many points though. Give me the 6.5 in the Auburn Tigers. What are you doing here?
Yeah, I'm taking Auburn. This is narrative. Just off of narrative alone, Hugh Freeze should get his team up for this game. I'll actually be very, very disappointed, and I'll probably be out on Auburn like for the foreseeable future if they lose this game. This has to be the game. This has to be the game you get up for. At the very least, you cover. You really should win this game outright. 13, Ole Miss, a little bit overrated. Little bit, it doesn't feel like everything has been Auburn's fault of why they've been so bad this season. And it feels like this is the perfect get right spot to kind of push yourself towards a bowl game here because you really need this game. Like if you get this game, you feel pretty confident going rest of the season that you can make a bowl. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take Auburn here, get it done as a big dog.
Yeah. TCU, Kansas State rematch of the last Big 12 championship. We saw TCU's catching 6, but look, I mean, Chandler Morris not available, but damn, their fucking backup quarterback looked like a stud last week. Josh Hoover threw for over 400 yards, looking like Broadway Joe. First road game of his career, though, and that is why I will fade TCU. I will lay the 6 with Kansas State. What are you doing here?
Yep, same. I just don't think TCU is good, and Kansas State got the stench off of them. I think they're a lot better of a team. This is a lot of points for Kansas State. I probably like to put this in the teaser a little bit more than playing it playing the -6, but I really don't think that TCU is in this one. I think they're an overrated team, and Kansas State's a lot better. Give me Kansas State -6.
App State is in Norfolk. Take it on Old Dominion, SB Ballard Stadium. App's laying 5.5. I went back and forth on this one. I ended up laying the 5.5 when it was all said and done. What are you doing here?
So I'm taking 5.5. Taking 5.5.
I originally took the 5.5. Then I switched and I thought App needs this if they want to go bowling. I don't know. I'm all over the place on this one.
I mean, you look at 2-1 against the spread at home. 4-1 is an underdog this season. ODU's been really good, like 4-2 against the spread, and where you have an App team that just isn't getting it done as a favorite. 1-3 as a favorite this year. 1-1 on the road. Like this is a tougher spot, and this is an ODU team that's been really, really scrappy and kind of making their presence known in this conference. So, yeah, I like ODU to keep this close and potentially get the win outright. Give me ODU.
Colorado State.
This isn't the same App State. This is not the same App State.
Yeah, they need to fire Clark. I think. Colorado
this
State.
This should potentially go into the Korean barbecue. I really like ODU. This should potentially go into Korean barbecue.
Ooh, I don't know. I mean, I don't trust either team. ODU's been good, but also bad. Like there's moments where ODU almost lost to Texas A&M Commerce. They're just too unpredictable. They're too young and unpredictable for me to really 100% get behind the Monarchs. They could win this game, but
if they were getting a bigger number and they were on the road, I would probably be on App. But because they're at home, I'm going to take ODU.
I don't know. I don't love the play. Regardless, Colorado State, UNLV. I think wrong team's favored. UNLV is laying 7 at home. There's no home edge. Colorado State comes into Vegas, gets the dub. UNLV has 0 wins against teams with the winning record. They're fool's gold right now. What are you doing here?
Does 500 count as a winning record?
Who do they have that was 500? No, it doesn't.
Because Colorado State's 500. So,
but dude, they should have beat Colorado. You know what I mean? Colorado State's a little more battle tested to me than UNLV.
I'm kind of sold on Norvell. Here. Yeah, give me +7. Norvell's pretty good as a dog too.
Yeah. Texas Tech's at BYU. Wrong team favored here as well. Texas Tech has quarterback injuries, and they're going to go. They potentially. Let me just make sure I'm correct here. So Shucks, we know Shucks out for the season. Baron Morton's questionable. Their third string quarterback played a lot last week. There's a chance that he's getting his first ever road start in Provo. BYU should be favored here. BYU is catching a field goal. BYU wins this game. What are you doing here?
Yeah, it's really hard for me to really think anybody can go into BYU and get a win. And so definitely not this Texas Tech team that we've seen absolutely get steamrolled by Dub V when they went on the road there. When Show got knocked out of that game, I think that is, all the way. Give me BYU, get this done.
Duke is heading into Tallahassee. Who knows if Riley Leonard's playing or not, but they're getting 14.5. Don't bet this until you know that, because here's the thing. If he's not playing, I love Florida State. If he's playing, I love Duke.
If he's playing, Duke might win this outright.
Yeah.
But it is homecoming for Florida State.
Still, man, I feel like if he's playing and he's just a little bit, he doesn't even need to be 100%. He just means mobile enough because he doesn't make turnovers. The drop off between him and the backup is pretty substantial after watching last week's game. I don't bet this until you know the information, which is going to be right before the fucking kick. So get your book ready.
Let's see here. If we do a little parlay, Florida State, Duke +14 and Florida State to win the game. It didn't pay what I thought it'd pay. +140. I think that's how this ends. I think Florida State wins, but Duke covers. Even if Leonard doesn't play, that defense for Duke is pretty good. It's going to be one of those very exciting homecoming games that comes down to the last play, and Florida State gets out the win.
I think if Leonard plays, Duke's live, but that's a big if.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. Michigan State, they're stealing signs. Everyone's pissed off. He's stealing signs. He has someone working for the United States Navy for them. I don't know. I think that shit's all just.
I really. So this is why I don't think it's true, because they said that they did it against teams that they were playing in the college football playoff. TCU still put up 51. So
trailed,
it's either it happened and you guys suck, or it didn't happen because TCU put up 51. But if you want to question it, I would go back and look at that TCU game because they really put up 51 on them. And if you had the signs and they put up 51, what do they do if you don't have the signs? 70, 80?
Yeah.
Oh man, I really hope they weren't cheating because that looks terrible in hindsight.
You know what it reeks of? You know what it reeks of to me, and I know you're younger than me, but Jerry Tarkanian was the head coach of the UNLV Running Rebels when they had.
That's when the Lakers tried to get him.
Yeah, Stacey Augmon.
And the mob boss kept him at UNLV.
They kept that money there. But dude, so Tarkanian, he's been proven over time to be right, because the NCAA had like a hard on to try to get Jerry Tarkanian after he would bash the NCAA, and I thought he would bash it correctly. He's the only person to actually successfully sue the NCAA and win. But you know, he's famous for the quote of like, Kentucky got caught cheating, that they'll give Cleveland State an 8-year ban because of that. Right. Meaning that the name brands they protect. But he created that. And like the NCAA was just adamant they had to find a way to bring down Tarkanian. They would bring up every little thing they could find. Well, Jim Harbaugh had comments regarding the NCAA in the past 12 months. And I feel like now this is kind of what happened. He bought some kids some cheeseburgers, right? They're coming at him for cheeseburgers. Right. A Zoom practice where, every goddamn big time school is fucking cheating. All right. Like, you just know that. Right. So I think he's probably going to be number one for them. So a situation like this, Urban Meyer talked about how he used to employ a coach to watch every Michigan game and go around and, okay, that was his sole job. So I just think that they're grasping at straws, in my opinion. I think that's the NCAA just in a bitter feud with Jim Harbaugh. They're laying 25 in East Lansing. What are you doing here? I'm on Michigan. I think he's in fuck you mode.
Oh man, after this coming out, I think there's no chance for Michigan State. Like, he's really gonna be like, they keep messing with us, and all right, we're gonna show them. We're gonna show them right now. So yeah, minus late at 25. I think Michigan wins by 38.
Yeah. I'm gonna lock up this team. USC is minus 6.5 at home against Utah. Caleb Williams revenge right here. He's 0-2 against Utah. He gets it done here. I'm laying the 6.5. What are you doing here?
I mean, if he doesn't get it done here, there's not really a chance to get it done. You're screwed at this point. So yeah, I gotta go. That's ultimately the desperation factor for USC is what it is for me. I mean, without Rising, we just haven't seen Utah's offense get going on the road. Like, the defense has played good no matter where they're at. The defense has played really solid, but the offense just can't get going on the road. And you're going to have to do that against this USC team, because while your defense is pretty good, USC is going to take some shots, and they're going to hit a couple of them. They may not hit a bunch of them, but they're going to hit a couple of them. And I mean, I don't think Utah can win this game not scoring 20 points. So yeah, I'm all over USC here. Get it done.
Let's go. That's one of my favorite plays. Lock it up, folks, with the Trojans. Clemson is in Miami Gardens taking on the Hurricane. Clemson's laying 3. Miami hasn't beaten Clemson since like the 1950s. I'll lay the 3. So Van Dyke might not start for the Hurricane. What are you doing here?
Yeah. I was literally just looking up at game day, and everybody but CJ Stroud took Clemson, and that made me sick to my stomach to see that happen. And it's really, I can't get that image of everybody on the panel taking Clemson, and I'm also on Clemson, but I think this is just a perfect slot for Clemson just to fuck up Miami, man. Like, I just think that this is going to be Dable flexing his muscles over Cristobal, saying, hey, I know you're here now, but this is still my conference. And, even in a down year, we can still whoop your ass. So I'm going to take Clemson. I feel significantly less good about it watching game day, and literally everybody took Clemson except CJ Stroud. So that's very concerning.
All right, look, before we get to our Korean barbecue special and our teas, the chat was talking about underdog fantasy. So for some props, essentially. Look, what do you guys think about this? I'm going to put this in right now, and we can switch this. So I'm asking, the world here and Terrell Furman. Dylan Gabriel, do you think he'll get over 28.5 rushing yards?
Dylan Gabriel over 28.5. Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
I just feel like it's his old team. He's going to show up. Their run defense has been awful. So I think that's probably the blueprint for Oklahoma, beating them on the ground. Now, the running backs and Gabriel. Luther Burden the third over 100 receiving yards for Missouri. Look, South Carolina's defense is awful, and Luther Burden is a fucking beast. How do you feel about that one?
Yeah, I agree that South Carolina's defense is terrible. Although Brady Cook gives me cause for concern, I think that he'll be solid here. I think he'll be solid here.
And then who's getting better to me if you watch that Houston West Virginia game last week. Garrett Green over 1.5 passing touchdowns. How do you feel about that? Quarterback for the Mountaineers.
What if they get it? What if it's a ground game?
Yeah. But hold on. What let me ask you this. What about do you trust Amari and Hampton, the North Carolina Tar Heels running back, over 90.5 rushing yards more?
Versus
against UVA, but my problem is British Brooks plays a lot too. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes if they get up big, you end up seeing 5 running backs. There's some other stuff too. There's a lot on Underdog Fantasy, folks.
Oh yeah, a whole bunch of plays.
Yeah, you could do. How about Keaton Slovis over 243 passing yards? I don't know. I feel like that's kind of right there. Yeah, I don't know, folks. I'm just gonna put that in though. I think that one makes sense here. Damn, I kind of like Jordan Travis throwing an interception, over a half interception.
Is that spicy?
Is
that a multiplier play?
No, that's just regular.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, boo.
What do you think about that though?
I think that's a solid play. This Duke defense is pretty live, and I think Travis is confident in himself and his receivers that he's going to put it in small windows, and that's going to be an opportunity for Duke to take over. I love that play. I think I'm going to add that one to mine.
So right now, which is the one you trust least? Gabriel over 28.5 rushing yards, Luther Burden over 100 receiving yards, Garrett Green over 1.5 passing touchdowns.
Garrett Green.
It's the Garrett Green one. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know,
what about McCarthy? JJ McCarthy over 2 touchdowns. You trust that more?
Yeah, I trust that more. I think they're going to beat the shit out of Michigan State.
But some of those are rushing touchdowns. I feel like they always get. What about Corum over 1.5 rushing? What's more likely? McCarthy over 2 passing touchdowns or Corum over 1.5 rushing touchdowns?
Dang, he's got to get 2.
He's got to get 2, but they use Donovan Edwards. Like that's what I'm saying. Like it's a little tricky because they use both backs. I'd
rather Corum rushing, just rushing yards, pure rushing yards. Because I think he gets that on a big play. He can have a 50-yard run.
So the pure rushing yards is 88.5. You think we're there?
Yeah.
All right, I'm adding.
If Corum costs us a loss, I won't be mad. If I lose to Garrett Green, I'm gonna be pissed. Like if Garrett Green's the reason I lose, I'm gonna be pissed because I knew not to do it. But if Corum loses, I'm like, all right, well, it is what it is. You win some, lose some.
Wait, oh man.
Oh, Corum's going for a touchdown record this year? Huh. Jake. I don't know. Jake is pretty sharp when it comes to the Michigan stuff, man. He said Corum's going for it. All right. That's enough for me to switch to the touchdown for Corum. And we could take the multiplier. That's 1.5x.
Hang on. I moved. Last time I used this, I was in a different state, so I need to make sure. How the fuck do I change my location? I went to go submit it, and it said my location. I need to turn on my location. What about our parlay wise? I don't know where the fuck this is.
Yeah, that's 15-1. I'm playing this. So I took Travis interception, Corum 1.5 rushing touchdowns, Luther Burden 100.5 receiving, and Jalen Gabriel 28.5 rushing. I'm playing that.
Yeah, I need to. Do you know where that is at? Where the fuck is that at? Because I haven't played this since I was in. So okay, let me make sure. Like when you switch states. Hang on.
Yeah. Trying to find your location services.
Yeah, no, it got me now. I think it got me. I got it. Okay.
All right, got that in.
Okay, so now we get to the parlay and the teaser here. Parlay, the Korean barbecue parlay. We got to put Navy in this fucking thing. We got to put Navy. We only have 4 minutes to get.
Let's go with Navy and Eastern Michigan.
Oh, I love it. That's it. Korean barbecue.
Let's just do it. They're
Navy
both 11.
And
it's
Eastern
both at
Michigan.
11.
Yes. Ride that. Tease wise, favorite teasers of the day. Let's build like a 5 or 6 team tease.
Tease
right.
Charlotte up to 12. There's no way ECU beats anybody by double digits. Tease Charlotte up to 12.
How about teasing LSU down to 26.5 against Army? I just feel like they're gonna fuck up. Oh no, how about USC? USC had a pick.
Okay, yes. I was about to say that LSU one was such a random teaser.
I just feel like Army is gonna get fucked up. They're trying to pass. It's just not working out.
And that's no. LSU is quit on the season. No, we're not putting that one in the season.
All right, USC is 1. USC at -0.5.
Let's
pretty
bring
much.
not UAB. Let's bring Memphis down to 1.5. They beat UAB.
They should beat that. I'm on board. Okay, so Memphis -1.5 or 1. USC -0.5. I mean, kind of like Illinois up to 9. So even if they lose, they can lose by a touchdown. I think that gives you a little bit of protection.
Yeah.
Let's do Illinois +9 as the third leg on that. You got a fourth leg, Terrell?
Let's go with. Yeah, let's just throw Alabama in there. I'm fine with fade and jump though.
Yeah. So Alabama down to 3, right?
Yeah.
Kansas State to win outright. That's at a pick. Kansas State to beat TCU in the guy's first ever road start.
Yeah.
That's 5. Do we want to add a 6th?
Let's go with. Let's take UConn up to 8. Or 7 +7.
Oh, I think they're gonna win outright. Yeah.
Yeah, let's take UConn +7. South Florida sucks. They're not going up there and getting a win.
Folks, that's our show. Get in there. Remember tonight.
Real quick, are we laying points with the Nuggets tonight? In preseason? I'm not betting preseason. We'll lay it with them on Tuesday when the season starts. But I'm not betting
true
preseason.
DJ play. I don't know. I mean, I feel like sometimes you're riding a heater and you're just like, fuck it, I need more action. Yeah, but that's why you got college football. That's why you also have the NBA Gambling Podcast and the WNBA Gambling Podcast. Check out Terrell Furman. Give him a follow on Twitter. Where's my logo here? At @reallyrail __. Right. And folks, we'll be back tonight recapping. And let's fucking go. We got this. We're gonna be hitting all of this. Tonight's gonna be a fucking fantastic show. I can feel the energy. Rutgers is gonna hit that. Well, they already did hit the over, but they're gonna make a bowl. I'm gonna be talking shit. Everything's gonna be going good, folks. Appreciate it. Subscribe to the College Football Experience. Subscribe to the Sports Gambling Podcast. And remember, we'll be back later tonight on the reaction show, which should probably kick off around 8:39 Pacific time. So get in there, folks. Check it out. Until next time, this is the College Football Experience. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.